So, just quick one there, aren't they all? I've been on Twitter a good bit there now over the last 2 months. Um, I was particularly interested because these midterm elections in America are coming up, and Twitter seemed to be a very good place to see just how kind of unhinged the politicking becomes in the run up to one of these midterm elections, and for presidential elections as well. Now, given my own world views, I was particularly interested to see what was going on in Democrat circles, and it's just one round of denunciation after another. I link a few Twitter accounts for their you could nearly guess the types. They all write for the Atlantic and are credentialed academics from the likes of Harvard and Stanford and Purdue, and Berkeley. The kinds of people that maybe 15 years ago I would have thought, oh my God, those awesomely well informed and so devastatingly articulate liberal types. There's a rogues gallery of them. Tom Foley, is that his name? Um, Rick Wilson. Oh my God. They're the most just they do such a slick line in the most sanctimonious, condescending. The data tells us so. The data, you know. This smug confidence in presenting some numbers and saying, well, there you go, you bigot, checkmate. It's so silly. It's so silly. None of the arguments that any of the circles that I'm in or trying to interact with these aren't data type arguments, lads. These are philosophical positions. These are moral positions, and you just it's oh my God, it is so tiresome reading it. Just so tiresome reading it. Now I look at, I've nothing particularly interesting to contribute here because all I'm doing is really politely shit posting at these lads, politely. I might add, not being rude. I don't think, So that's all the data tells us. There's one lad, citing some Bloomberg Business Insider or Bloomberg Business, I think. Wouldn't you know, the actually most dangerous states in America, if you control for X, Y, and Z, is actually these red states. It was such a silly thing. God help me, I spent 10 minutes reading it. Now these numbers, they're okay, fine. Numbers are numbers, but even a cursory look would show you that, yeah, it's the large urban centers that are Democrat-run shitholes, in these ostensibly red states where all this crime is occurring, guys. It's so silly. It's so silly and absurd, Anyway, I'm rambling here. The main thing that obviously provoked my attention over the last couple of days was the travails of Mr. Paul Pelosi and his attacker. So there's probably a hell of a lot more to come out. Now it seems to be breaking the Democrats' way because this guy was just online radicalized and he broke in there and he attacked Paul Pelosi and he was looking for Nancy. Where's Nancy? Where is Nancy? And only those cops got in and stopped this, So, look, I mean, Mr. Pelosi got a whack in the head of a hammer, it would appear. So, it's not good at all. But yeah, it's just the attacker has in his statements to the cops who have used this to file charges against them, was in there to kidnap Nancy apparently and interrogate her, and there's so much with it that just isn't adding up though. And now it'll become federal charges, and the alphabet agencies will take it over, and it'll be whatever it's going to turn out to be. You won't get a straight answer about any of it anyway. But I just sense strongly that Paul Pelosi is a very troubled individual. I just sense, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. But yeah, the point here is talking about these so-called October events. These I might have this wrong, but they can be described as a black swan event. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, that's just as this election cycle is coming to fruition, this wild card event just materializes, and just throws a cat among the pigeons. Which is, I hope that isn't the case, because even though there's a lot of bollocksology spoken on the GOP side as well, and I'm not a particular fan of them, but it's like it would be so easy to just stick to the simple stuff. You've no sovereign borders in America anymore, and your large urban centres are, despite what the data says, are crime-ridden hellholes, and it's clearly and obviously a Democrat policy implemented for decades in those places that is largely, if you want to actually argue, even though my opinion of the whole idea of systemic racism is not anything of anything positive or anything positive to say about. But you could, if you really wanted to stretch the definition, you probably could actually argue that that Democrat policy in the likes of New York and Baltimore and Chicago and Detroit and Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and Jackson, Mississippi and Los Angeles and San Francisco and Portland and Seattle, that's what percolates out of communities in those places that is so destructive is as a result of Democrat policy and any kind of God-fearing conservative folks that are in those communities that have to endure that stuff would probably say the same thing as well. So yeah, this both sides appear to be very motivated to go in swinging at each other hard in a process like this. But one hopes that the voting constituencies can see the actual real issues and vote accordingly. And that's the final thing I would just like to say about this: the amount of rhetoric around democracy is at stake. Democracy is at stake. Democracy. Yeah, as long as your guy gets voted in, democracy said. But if your putative or your opponent gets voted in, oh God Almighty, democracy is now been cast into the fires. Such a pile of nonsense. And unfortunate to say that, democracy maybe not all is cracked up to be either. If you've got a lot of ill-informed potatoes voting, not necessarily going to get anything good out of that either. So, but anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there and see if anyone has any thoughts. So, thanks for listening.